Into your mouth.
Come with me now. Go with me now. I'm gonna take you down. Go with me now. I'm gonna show you how. Go with me now. I'm gonna take you down. Go with me now. I'm gonna show you how.
It's The Drive.
Afraid to lose control. Caught up in this world.
My name is Paul Van Wagner. No B-Ride today. He is out with an illness. So if you want to participate in the show, best way to do it is by the AA Automatic Transmission Kabuki Japanese Steakhouse text line. That number is 866-961-1430. 866-961-1430. We would love to hear from you today. He has been preparing his resume over the course of the last probably 10 to 12 hours. He is going to apply to be the new athletic director at Michigan State University. It's Scott Nason. Scott Nason, how are you, my friend?
No truth to that rumor, Paul. I wouldn't touch that situation or university with a 10-foot pole right now. Sad week and day in East Lansing. So I'll stick with being a special correspondent on your show. That one, I'm sure, will be a much better fit for my talent.
Well, and we appreciate the fact that you are willing to do this with us on a weekly basis, and sometimes, like this week, even a little bit more, because Scott Nason, it's one of the big, can we call this the big three? Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, the big three for the WWE?
I think you can. They call SummerSlam the summer party event. This is the winter party event.
Yeah.
And, well, after what we saw on Monday, a disappointing, in my opinion, 25th anniversary show for Raw. This is really the momentum that the WWE wants to build, starting really with this weekend's pay-per-view event to get to WrestleMania, because I think we know some of the matches that might be, but this will tell us a lot this weekend as far as the Royal Rumble and what happens here over the next few months.
All right, let's run through the card. 6 matches. There'll be a few others on there that'll be kind of just add-in sort of throwaway matches, a little bit in the pre-show, but 6 matches for the most part on the Royal Rumble card that people are very interested in. Let's start out with the Raw Tag Team Championship match. Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan, somehow the Tag Team Champions, taking on The Bar, Sheamus, and Cesaro. I got to be honest with you, Jason Jordan as a placeholder for Dean Ambrose, I don't like it.
I don't like it either. He's kind of going along the lines of Roman Reigns to many fans as far as, pushing somebody too soon, too fast. The good thing I think about Jordan over the last few weeks is he's starting to play the heel role. Roman Reigns really hasn't played it too much. Jordan is. But you look at the Raw tag teams right now, this is it. Basically, These two teams are it. So I would expect in this one, I think Sheamus and Cesaro will get the titles only because they're the only true tag team of these two. And then I think you're going to see some of these NXT tag teams come up. Sanity is one that comes to mind that's really doing some damage down there. But they need something like the Revival or something that's going to kind of mix up this tag team. So I like Sheamus and Cesaro to win this kind of by default.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly on that. I feel like something needs to happen with that tag team division at Raw. It's just, I don't know, it's boring. The Smackdown tag team division, on the other hand, is pretty fun. You've got the Usos, you've got Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, who was Jason Jordan's original, Chad Gable, that is, Jason Jordan's original tag team partner. But you got Gable and Benjamin, you've got the New Day, there's a lot of, the Rusev Day, you've got a lot of really interesting tag teams on SmackDown. The Usos, the champs, Gable and Benjamin, the challengers, 2 out of 3 fall match. I think in the history of the WWE, you've only ever had one time where somebody won the first 2 falls in any of these matches. So it's going to go to 3 falls. Who you got in this one?
This one's tough. I think you can go either way. I think this potentially could be the best match of the matches that we'll talk about as far as, the Usos always bring a very good tag team game. Shelton Benjamin, a veteran. And I really like Chad Gable after kind of splitting up from Jason Jordan. I mean, he's a very good wrestler. And I think this could be the match of the night. And I like the tag team titles to change hands as well. I think they've done enough with the Usos, at least at this point. They got to give somebody else a chance, and so I like the tag team titles to change hands in this case in the Smackdown brand.
I agree. I think so also. You just every now and again you got to move it around. The Usos and New Day doesn't make much sense anymore since they seem to have mended fences, for lack of a better term, at least as far as the storyline is concerned. You put it on a heel team like Gable and Benjamin, and the fans don't like it, and you've got people chasing them. It just seems to make for a little bit better TV, doesn't it?
It does, and you've seen traditionally in the WWE that at WrestleMania, usually the faces end up capturing a lot of titles from the heels, and I think that's why Cesaro and Sheamus and then Gable and Benjamin might be the heels, even going into WrestleMania and having those switch back to the faces, which they seem to like at WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt about that. The WWE Championship match. It's a handicap match. AJ Styles taking on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, as everyone knows, are couple, for lack of a better term. So does AJ Styles have a chance in this? I feel like he does.
I think he does. I mean, you're looking at him holding the belt in WrestleMania, taking on, and we'll maybe talk about that more during the Royal Rumble portion that we'll discuss. But, Styles is one of the most, if not the most popular superstar right now out there. I mean, he's earned his keep, and you look at his matches so far in the WWE, he's had some of the best pay-per-view matches. Having co-champions, I don't see that happening. I do like the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens thing, but I like Styles to keep it at least on Sunday.
I feel like at some point in time, Owens and Zayn turn on each other in this match, which opens the door for AJ Styles.
I agree.
Yeah. The other championship match, the Universal Championship, the irrelevant championship in the WWE, because Brock Lesnar holds it, and he shows up for about 7 events all year, including Raw. Braun Strowman, Kane are the challengers. This one is anybody can win this thing. Time, in my opinion, to put the belt on Braun Strowman.
I think a lot of people would agree, Paul, but I don't think it's going to happen. We do know this. Kane definitely will not get the belt, and he's going to be the one that's pinned. Even if Lesnar retains, which I think he will, because they're really setting up, I hate to say it, but I think WrestleMania's main event, at least one of them, will be Brock Lesnar with the title taking on Roman Reigns. We've seen it before, but it sounds like that's the way it's going. Braun Strowman's time will come. He, along with Sami Zayn, along with AJ Styles, probably the two biggest pops as far as wrestlers. Braun Strowman used to be a heel, maybe not so much anymore, but I don't think this is the time or place that he's going to win the title. Lesnar somehow will get it done. He'll pin Kane. He'll keep the Universal title.
My question for you is this, because traditionally Braun Strowman matches last for less than 5 minutes. Does this match go the over-under, Scott Nason, 5 minutes and 30 seconds? What do you got?
Boy, you added that 30 seconds. That's going to make it tough. I'm going to still say just over, maybe 6 minutes, only because there's 3 participants. Kane shouldn't be in this match. He's a part-time wrestler. As much as he's done a lot over the years, he needs to go back and run for mayor or county commissioner, whatever he's doing in Tennessee. It's Braun Strowman's time, but his time will not come with a belt on Sunday.
The Women's Royal Rumble match. 20 women have declared for this. It is a 30 women over the top rope match, which means that we have about 10 slots available for the women, Scott. More importantly than who's going to win, who you got showing up for this thing?
Boy, this is tough. WWE has played this pretty well. The expectations are that we've seen it a couple of WrestleManias ago with Ronda Rousey showing up at this event. Now, she has been training in the WWE rings, now, and she did publicly state that she is not going. She is filming some movie in Colombia or some other location. Now, when somebody goes to that length to say they're not coming, I wouldn't be surprised if they are. Another reason I think is that Stephanie McMahon will be commentating this event, which means, she's going to get involved in the match somehow. I think Rousey comes in. You look at what happened on Monday with a lot of the divas that they introduced, and they really didn't have anything to do. You look at a Trish Stratus, if she's cleared. Will we see Lita possibly?
Yeah.
A lot of the ones, Jacqueline, Kelly, we saw a whole bunch of them on Monday in the Raw 25 special. You're going to might see a couple NXT comes in, but, really to me it looks like Asuka is the one that on paper should win because she hasn't lost. She hasn't lost yet in the WWE. But I hate to even think this, but I think Ronda Rousey comes in and somehow she gets involved. Heck, she may win the whole thing. Who knows?
Do you not feel like a Tamina or a Nia Jax, because of their just sheer size, need to win this? Because back in the day, you remember guys like Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan. It was the big guys that won this match. You just couldn't get them out. To kind of stick with that quote-unquote tradition in the Royal Rumble, don't you feel like one of those, like a Nia Jax or a Tamina really should be the choice to win this?
Nia Jax, I think, is one that comes to mind because now she really doesn't have much of a storyline with Enzo Amore no longer with WWE.
Yes.
They had a small storyline going there, but yeah, Nia Jax would be the one. But I really look at Asuka and I look at Ronda Rousey coming in and somehow having a lot to say about who comes out of that champion.
Dark horse in the Women's Royal Rumble match, do you got to give that to Becky Lynch?
Absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth. Becky Lynch, one of the four horsemen who really hasn't gotten a whole lot of the publicity, the good matches. She was out for a while. Watch out for Becky Lynch. I agree.
The Men's Royal Rumble. I got to be honest. I have very little interest in the group that they currently have in the Royal Rumble. The guys like Kane and Braun Strowman, who would maybe make it interesting, are obviously in the championship picture with Brock Lesnar. I'm just looking through this list of participants, and I feel like there's no one here that really, other than a Shinsuke Nakamura, that gets me excited.
And I think WWE is making that the reason you think that way. I think they're doing that deliberately. I think you may see in some of these earlier matches, say the Strowman-Lesnar-Kane match, Brock Lesnar somehow beats Kane. Strowman's mad. He enters the Royal Rumble. Maybe he ends up winning it. Yeah. Maybe John Cena comes in, and maybe The Undertaker has something to say. Maybe he's one of the 30 participants because that really wasn't explained, and the rumors are that John Cena and The Undertaker will be wrestling at WrestleMania. So there's a lot of different angles there. I mean, you look at the ones that are in it. Roman Reigns, many people think, is going to win. I don't know why WWE would do that, considering the last time he won the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia, where this year's event is being held, he got booed out of the building.
Right.
It was some pretty intense heat. I
but
look
Philadelphia,
at Shinsuke Nakamura, Paul, is the one maybe that might get it after all.
Philadelphia boos Santa Claus, Scott. You can't.
You're right. Good point.
You can't put anything on that. So I guess, all right, so 17 men have declared, which means there are still 13 spots left. You ran through a couple of people, the likes of Kane, the likes of Braun Strowman, the likes of The Undertaker. Who else do you think maybe possibly, is there someone from NXT? Last year they brought Finn Balor in. He had a pretty decent showing. They brought in AJ Styles last year, just kind of a free agent signing, and AJ Styles had a pretty decent showing. Who do you expect to see jumping in and that maybe people are not necessarily expecting?
Well, yeah, I think a couple from NXT. Again, I talk about that Sanity group, the tag team that's going on down there. There's also a couple individual gentlemen that could be making an appearance, but a few names that have been floated about on the rumor mill. Kurt Angle, possibly being a part of that somehow. We have seen him participate in the ring as of late, or at least as one of the pay-per-views. Daniel Bryan, is he cleared? Will he be part of that? Again, don't know the storyline there, maybe. How about a Batista? Now, they did try Batista a few years ago. That comeback didn't go very well. He is a busy man with his Hollywood schedule. But, again, some of these names that you don't expect, will they win it? Probably not. But will they enter it? Usually I always see 3 or 4. We saw DDP a few years ago, Kevin Nash. So who knows who they're going to bring out of the woodwork. Hey, how about Hulk Hogan? How about for a wild scenario? Let's bring back the Hulkster for one last run.
Well, the Hulkster has tweeted out on a couple of occasions that he's ready to come back to the WWE. I know during the Raw 25th anniversary, they made mention of Hulk Hogan. There were video clips with Hulk Hogan in there, so maybe the WWE is willing to bring him back now. We'll have to see.
Hey, who knows? Maybe Vinnie Mac, after that big XFL announcement, maybe he's feeling a little excited. Maybe he'll enter the Royal Rumble. Who knows? He looked pretty good the other night.
Any truth to the rumor that you're going to try out for a quarterback position in the XFL?
The no truth to that rumor. I would love to try for a broadcast position, but I'm excited about the XFL. I got to be honest. I'm really excited about that.
I am too. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people. There's no doubt about that. Scott Nason, where can our listeners hear more from you?
We'll have a full recap of the Royal Rumble on Monday on my sports show. Maybe even get Paul on if he has some time. And you can find that at the podcast page, snason.podomatic.com. And look forward to hearing that you maybe listen to it and maybe even having Paul on. That would be fantastic.
Pencil me in tentatively. I'll confirm with you here in a couple of days.
I like it, sir. Hey, have a great weekend. Thanks for having me on.
You too, Scott. We'll talk to you real soon. You take care. There you go, Scott Nason from The Game. Appreciate him joining us. You're not a WWE guy, are you?
Nah, not really. That's why I was kind of just sitting here.
So I
was letting you all talk. I know some of the names y'all are talking, especially on the guys' side. Women's side, the only one I know is Ronda Rousey, but I know a lot of the guys. The John Cena's, the Chris Batista.
The big names.
Yeah, the big names.
Yeah.
But I was kind of sitting here listening.
It's going to be fun. There's no doubt about that. A quick break when we come back. Well, it is happening. I'll tell you what it is next. It's The Drive.
Carrying the message to other sports junkies.